What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of modeling, auditions or castings, however you want to name it. But I'm going to be breaking down the importance of these auditions and castings, how you can exceed at your auditions or castings, and what to expect after. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on all of my modeling tips. So let's get right into it. First, we got to understand the process of what it looks like to actually get booked. Right? So what your agent or you will do if you represent yourself, you'll submit your photos, you'll submit videos according to that specific casting, according to that specific job. Now, once the client likes you, they will ask you to come in person for an in-person casting or audition. Auditions are usually in the acting world and theater where you actually have to perform and you put on an audition. Castings are more for modeling, where you go in and you take photos. Auditions involve showcasing specific skills, talents, like acting, singing, dancing, while casting calls are more about finding the right look for the project or brand. You will come into a location with your book. When I started, it used to be a book, or your comp card, or your digitals, or your online portfolio that a lot of people use on an iPad now, which is pretty professional. And you'll come in, you'll sign in. They might have you sign a slate or fill out a slate, which will have your name, your agency, your height, your weight, depending on what they're looking for, all types of specs. That's what you'll hold up. You'll sit down, you'll wait along with the other models. I'm gonna talk about what you should do here later on in this video, so make sure you stick around. Once you're called in, depending on the casting or what they're looking for or the audition, if it's an audition, you'll have to recite the lines and perform. They will actually record. There might be 2 or 3 people sitting at a table, you introduce yourself, and they'll let you know what they wanna see from you, whether it's an audition, if you're an actor and you're performing some lines from a scene, they'll tell you to state your name. They might do some photos before, front, side, back, but essentially you'll just be doing your name, where you're from, your agency, if you're union or non-union, and then you'll perform that scene. If you're modeling and you're in for a casting call, you'll most likely take photos in positions or clothing that's gonna be used during the shoot. So they wanna see how it looks on you. Now, depending on how it looks on you, they might ask you to try on more or less things. If they don't, that doesn't mean you didn't get it, but just understand they want to see different people for different things. Now, after they take photos of you or the video, you're all set, you're good to go. There's no need to linger around. Thank them for the opportunity and head out your way. Your agent will let you know if you got it or not, or if you represent yourself, they'll reach out to you with a direct booking and you'll get the email for the shoot date. There might be 2 or 3 callbacks, which pretty much means they want you to come in. It's like they're narrowing it down to the people that they like, right? And the callback, they might ask you to do different things. They might ask you to perform it a different way. Maybe perform it with a serious face, maybe a little more energetic this time. Maybe take your photos with your hair down. So the callback means that they like you, but they want to see a little more. Once you pass the callback and you are booked, you know you got the job and the gig is yours. Let's talk about why modeling, auditions, or casting calls are so important. These events are where you have a chance to showcase your talent, your personality, your professionalism to industry professionals. It's a good way to break the ice, build relationships with casting directors, and to let them know who you are. Maybe they're gonna need you in the future. So make sure you're friendly and leave a lasting impression. Now let's talk about preparing for these events. Research is crucial. Take the time to learn about the project, to learn about the brand you're auditioning for, right? This is gonna help you tailor your portfolio, your walk, and your overall presentation to fit their aesthetic, right? Let's say you don't even research the brand and they're a more moody, serious brand, and you coming there smiling, taking photos, smiling, and super energetic, you're not gonna fit what they're looking for. So make sure you do your research. This is super key in your preparation for your casting calls or audition, and it's gonna give you the right idea of what they're actually looking for. Now, there's a couple things when it comes to preparing. I've seen people come to auditions and castings and just do too much. For instance, if you have a Nike audition, you don't want to wear Adidas shoes or Under Armour shoes, right? You want to wear Nike, but don't do too much with the Nike. Don't have a Nike headband on with the finger strap and ankle sleeve. Just wear something basic. I always recommend people to wear jeans, black jeans, blue jeans, a white tee or black tee with Converse to every casting. It's super basic. It's what people wear in their digitals, so it gives them an idea of how you look basic before adding anything, and it's a great way to start. You want to make sure you're super professional when you get to these casting calls. Understand that it's not just you that's auditioning for the role, right? You're up against other people with the same criteria. So make sure you network and build relationships there, right? Don't make it awkward because everyone is going for the same role. So it's super competitive. And a lot of people think they need to just be to themselves and standoffish because we're both going for the same role. When in reality, you can learn a lot from the people in the same room as you. You can network. Maybe you're auditioning for a role. This person in the room can be someone that you can read lines with and audition with in the future, right? And you never know who is there, and you never know who can add value to you in your career. So a few common misconceptions about castings and auditions: they are not paid. I don't know why people think that they are paid. They're not paid. You're pretty much going for a tryout. Auditions aren't always glamorous. They can be long, tiring. Yes, they can be, but they also can be 30 seconds. They also can be a minute long. Actually, majority of the castings and auditions I went on were super short in comparison to those that were really long. The longest casting I've ever went to was a Yeezy casting. It was Yeezy season 1 when Kanye first came out with this concept, right, of his clothing line. Everyone in New York City was at this audition. But actually, for Yeezy season 1 and Yeezy season 2, I waited for hours on these lines, okay? Now, for jobs like that, obviously, it's going to be a lot to people. If it's an open call where it's posted on social media, everyone's going to know about it. But if you're going through your agency or you submit it through a submission website and they specifically request you, it's going to be super fast, right? So make sure you plan ahead and you understand that this is going to be an in and out, but it might not be in and out. You might be there for an hour or two. Bring a book with you, bring a snack, because you might be waiting, but most importantly, understand you can build relationships. A lot of people think that auditions are only for a runway as well, which is false. I'm a fitness model. I do a lot of auditions and castings in person. Prior to the pandemic, it was a lot more. Now there's a lot more virtual and direct bookings and virtual auditions. However, we still do go in person to castings and auditions. Lastly, auditions are not only about the talent. So if you land a job because of your audition, that doesn't mean you are super talented. Maybe you just have their look. Maybe they want someone with a bun and green eyes and you just walked in the door, right? And they can mold you into what they're actually looking for. Another thing is professionalism and how you carry yourself. A lot of people just want to work with people who are easy to work with and easy to talk to. This is another reason why you want to be presentable and have conversations. Lastly, a lot of people think auditions are just runway walks or castings are just to see your walk, when in reality, that might not be it. If you're going for a runway casting for like Fashion Week, obviously you want to practice your runway walk and expect to walk at the casting. Aside from this, you're most likely just going to be taking photos, front, side, back. They might ask you a couple questions. What are some of the favorite things you like to do? What'd you do this summer? Just to see your personality engage who you are as a person. So now let's talk about navigating the audition or casting call day, right? On the big day, remember to arrive early. Maintain a positive attitude like I was saying. And be open to feedback. Ask questions that's going to gear you in the right direction. Now, interacting confidently with casting directors and industry professionals can take you to a whole nother level, and it can leave a lasting impression. So make sure you're friendly with everyone, shake everyone's hand, make eye contact, and show that you're a professional and you've been here before. Another thing that's super important in terms of interacting with casting directors and photographers is being able to take direction. If you're taking a couple photos aside from the digitals and maybe they just want to see how you move with the photographer, and then the photographer tells you, okay, less of this, let's do more of this, and you don't do that, you're probably not going to get the job. So make sure you're coachable and you know how to take direction. I'll tell you right now, this is a pro tip. Photographers love working with me because after every flash, I give them something different. So when they go back to the room to edit the photos, to get the final edits, they have so many options on the screen to work for, and that's why a lot of photographers will request for brands to bring me back. So first and most important, you obviously want to arrive early. If you are running late, your agent, or you should have an email with the client's contact info, update them. Let them know that your train is 10 minutes delayed and your ETA is now 10:05. This is very professional and it goes a long way. You don't want them reaching out to your agent to then ask where you are. So be professional, and if you're arriving late, obviously let them know ahead of time. But arrive early. It speaks to who you are as a person, who you are as a professional, and it shows that you take your job serious. Now let's talk post the audition or casting call. What do you do after? I always tell people, yes, it's easy to take photos, but it's also easy to mess it up by arriving late and being unprofessional, right? So obviously when you get there, also check in with the client, make sure you meet hair and makeup, meet the photographer, introduce yourself to everyone. After the event or casting call, don't forget about the post-event etiquette. Some people like to send thank you notes or emails to show professionalism or gratitude. I haven't done that, so I'm not gonna recommend to do that, but some people do, and it works for some people, especially if you have a relationship with the casting director and you've auditioned for a role. Now, in the modeling world, it's a little different. I wouldn't recommend to do this, but obviously follow up with your agent. Follow up with the person who sent you the email and see where they might have taken things, right? But you are going to be up in the air for a lot of things. You're going to audition for so many things, and you're going to get turned down for so many things. So just keep an open mind and understand that you just got to keep going for the next one, okay? Remember, rejection is a part of the journey to set the tone and the standard for who you are and to set the tone and standard for the day. And with that comes maintaining a positive attitude and confidence. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to have a positive attitude. People already expect models to be arrogant and standoffish. So make sure you do your best to stay positive. Always smile and engage with people. And most importantly, be confident. You're the one on camera, right? So you need to exude confidence on set as well. I've worked with a lot of bad apples and people that just didn't have good energy. But I've also worked with a lot of people with great attitudes. And what I can say is, it makes the day go so much faster. So you want a work environment where everyone is on the same page and everyone is working fast. I can tell you countless amount of times we have wrapped early, been done by lunchtime or a couple hours after lunchtime. We didn't shoot the full day because everyone was on the same page, everyone has a positive attitude, and everyone was just working in unison, right? So make sure that you contribute to this as well. Obviously, if you also built those relationships at the casting calls or at the auditions, you can reach out to those other models or actors and ask them, yo, did you get the job? How did it go? And if someone tells you I booked it, ask them to see how they performed their audition. Ask them what they did so you can see and pick their brain on the things that worked for that specific job. Now, don't marry that idea or whatever it is that they did because it might have worked specifically for that job because that's what they were looking for. But just to get an open mind on what works and what's working in front of casting directors while auditioning is a good thing to do, okay? So this is why you always network when you're in the room and always follow up with the other models and actors that auditioned with you. Now, if you got the job or you booked the role, your agent or client will email you that you booked the role to secure the dates, right? So that you can hold those dates, you're booked, whether you're option 1, you're option 2, and you're gonna be booked, hold those dates. That just pretty much means to hold the shoot date. Don't book anything and double book, right? Because you're on hold and you most likely are getting the job. Now, once you book the job, congratulations. All that sweat, all those tears, all paid off, right? All that work you put into it paid off. But understand, the work starts now, right? Now we got to get to the shoot date. Now we got to get to the location and we got to perform our best. Now, your agent or client will send you a call sheet, which will give you an outline of what's going to happen for the day. The night before the shoot date, I recommend you study that call sheet front and back so that you understand what's going on. You should even know hair and makeup's first name. You should know the times we're breaking for lunch. You should know how many outfits you're going to have so that you know what to expect and you can perform your best. And nothing comes as a surprise the day of the shoot. I always tell people I treat my shoots just like I was when I played college basketball. I had a whole routine that I had to prepare in my mind before the actual day. So treat it the same way. Whatever it is that you do to get pumped up, whether you studied in college or however you performed your best to prepare for that day, you have to do it the same way, okay? So this is super important. The call sheet is going to give you everything you need to know. Also, it's going to tell you if you're going to be doing video, if you're going to be doing photos, how many outfits you're going to have on, things like that. So always look at the call sheet. Now, when shoot day is here, it's time to put on our best show, all right? So make sure you get up, you have a nice breakfast, a nice full breakfast. Yes, you should eat on set, but don't count with it because I have been on some shoots where they forgot to order lunch. So make sure you prepare yourself a nice big breakfast to hold yourself over because you don't know when you're going to be able to grab something quick. There might be snacks on set as well, but you don't know when you're going to be able to eat next, right? And they might need you all the way to lunch. So prepare yourself a nice big breakfast, get lots of fluids in your body, stay hydrated, and most importantly, meditate. I like to do this because it puts me in a mindset that's much more relaxed before a hectic shoot day. Some shoot days are 8, 10 to 12 hours long, so it can be very tedious. So make sure you prepare and nurture your body beforehand. This actually starts the night before with getting proper rest as well. You want to make sure you get a lot of rest the night before a shoot, okay? I can't stress this enough. My first gig, actually, I was booked by the New York Yankees to shoot their catalog. That was going to be in the stadium store and all over their socials, online. And this was my first job. It paid $2,200. And I underestimated because I'm like, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be modeling. I'm going to put on some clothes. But that day, I put on about 100 outfits, right? And I shot for 10 hours long in the Bronx, in the trains, in the stadium. There was an actual game going on, so we shot during the game. We went back on the street, we went back in the train. I put on about 100 outfits, and when I tell you by the end of the day, I was so tired because I didn't plan ahead the night before and get the proper rest. So make sure you get at least 8 to 10 hours, go for even 12 if you can, the night before a shoot. And then perform your best, right? You know what it is. You got the job. You booked it. So you know what they're looking for and you know how to perform your best. I always tell people, whatever works, works. If you've done something before in a previous shoot that the photographer or client loved, do it again on this shoot. Try it out. Make sure if it wasn't clear in the call sheet, the mood and what they're actually looking for, you ask these questions before you start to shoot, because the photographer doesn't want to waste all that film and they got to do it again, all right? So make sure you ask questions. The questions I like to ask is, are you guys expecting any smiles? What's the mood for this? Is this a friendly mood? Is this more of a serious mood? How often would you like me to change my poses? Because some companies like to just keep a static pose, very little movement, all right? Whilst others want to see you jump in the air and do a bunch of big movements because that's what the brand calls for, okay? And there you go, guys. That's a wrap on our guide to auditions and casting calls, whether you're a model or you're an actor. Preparing while you're there and the after for these auditions and casting calls is super important. I can't stress this enough. I hope you found these tips super helpful on your journey to success in the industry. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. I also have a modeling group where I'm helping people launch their career in just 30 days. I hope you build a portfolio. I hope you find representation. So click the link in the description to join my modeling group, and I'll see you at the next one. And let's continue to strut our way to success.